Hi, in this video I'm going to give you a quick demo of auto elevation policies. This is a big enhancement that's coming to our QElevate product. And what it does is allow MSPs to create policies so they don't need to manually approve each request for even basic processes or applications that they always want their end users to be able to run on their systems. So I'm logged into my account, CyberQP account on the dashboard. Also on the side, I have this computer open. I'm logged in as a standard user in there, um, and this user isn't able to run applications like I'm trying to install Notepad++. So we'll see how we can achieve this through this new enhancement that's coming. So I want to show you here. If I double click here, I run into this prompt. And here I can type in a reason to send a request to the help desk. And this is essentially what QElevate v1 was. Allowed an easy way for end user to submit request and an easy way for MSP to approve these requests. But it still required manual approval on each request, which could be time consuming. So now let's look at how auto elevation policies solve this. So if I go to the dashboard, once this rolls out, you will see a new option called policies at a global level here. Currently, admins can access it, so anyone with super and primary. We're looking at adding option for other roles to also manage these policies. And as you see here, I have many policies created, but they're all in draft mode. Draft means they have all the settings, but they're not still working. Once I activate them, that's when they will start auto approving requests. So you see I have a policy for Notepad+. I can edit that. Here I want to show you what a policy is made up of. So there's a general section which just allows you to provide a name and a description of why you created this policy, what it is about. The second section is the audience scope. What this means is who should this policy target or apply to. So there are two ways to target the policy. You can target at a customer level. In that case, you can select across all your customers. And for example, here I have this policy applying to 3 customers. So what that means is any end user within those 3 customers will benefit from this policy. The second option I have is to target specific end users. This is an option that you would choose if you are trying to focus a specific end users and giving them higher privileges. So in that case, you will select specific end users and this policy would only apply to them. It's not at a customer level. So of course you would choose this option if it's a more broader policy, more general standard applications processes, and this option for targeted applications like QuickBooks, maybe only HR or accounting departments need access to that, and you don't want everyone within the customer to have access to those. So that's what the scope and how that works. And then finally, the final section is the rules. This defines what actions from those audience scope will be allowed. So I have 3 rules here, and if I click on edit here, I'll show you what a rule consists of. So a rule has a name and a rule has various properties or conditions that we call. And you can use any of those. You need at least one. Here I have a file name and a file hash. File hash is very strong. It's hard to replicate that. File name, for example, it's easier to manipulate. So it's up to the MSP to define these. The more conditions you add, the more stronger your rule's going to be, more strict the rule's going to be. It's going to be harder to match. And the lesser condition mean it's a looser rule. a loose rule, so it could, yeah, so that's up to the MSP to define. Of course, we will have our recommendations on what's the best way to manage these. So once you've created a rule, click on update, and you can have many multiple rules within one policy. And yeah, that's it. And on the side, it's showing me within the last 30 days, if this policy was active, how many requests it would have been approving. So that's just a feedback mechanism on the side. So you're building the right rules and scope. So from here, just want to review. So the one customer I was testing, or one end user, belonged to this company. So if I publish this policy, it should apply to them. So you see now it's active. It's targeted to selected customers. It has 3 rules in it, and it hasn't approved any request yet. So now let's go back to the machine and see how the end user experience look like now. So now if I double click here and try to install it, it's going to validate your request, and it's gonna let you go through. So now I can go ahead and install this application. And that's because the conditions I have set of a file name and the hash match. So now I can install this. I still don't have access to broader admin settings. So if I go to control panel and maybe try to change my account to an admin account, I'm still blocked from that. But the nice thing with policy is you can even allow actions like these, or system configurations and settings. So that's how this works, where it gives control to the MSP to decide what is allowed, what's not allowed. And what's not allowed, you are still able to submit a one-time request to your MSP with a reason, and they'll be able to approve those. Okay, so that's how this works. I'll go back here and show you a few other things. So if I go to completed request, so from this user, this request was automatically completed. So just right now I requested it, it was approved and then completed. So we're still logging all the requests that are approved by the policy. Of course, any manual request comes here. So for example, I had this manual request, which was for user some account management changes. One more thing I want to show you. So we have also added process elevation. So let's put this back to draft. Now if I go back to the machine and try to install that, the validation fails, and I'm forced to submit a manual request, and I can say I need this for work, and I can send in a manual request. Now if I go back to the dashboard, go to active request, I have received a request from that user, and I can see it's for Notepad++. Here we have added another option called process elevation. Earlier we had user elevation. What that did was it gives the admin rights, full admin rights to that user on that machine for a selected duration. Of course, it was much broader. In that time, user can install this, but they can also do a lot of other things. So the other option we have added here is process elevation. So what it does is once you approve it, it gives them one-time permission to run only this process within the next 48 hours. So they will get one-time access, but just that process, and they won't be able to access anything else. So this is much more secure than the broader elevation. There are still use cases for that, where you just need to give them a global local admin rights for 15 minutes, but more common, you will use this option here. So the way this works is I hit on approve. The request is approved, it's active. So now if I go back to my machine, it says your elevation request approved. Your request to run Notepad++ has been approved, and please go ahead. This approval is valid for one-time use and expires in 48 hours. A new request will be required for future elevations. So now I can close this, and again I can double click here. It's going to validate and it's going to let me go through. So same experience with the policies. You don't require an approval, and we also have added a process elevation option, which is for one-time approvals. Again, it's very flexible, so MSP can decide to create rules for something they want automatically approved and reserve one-time approvals for other things as per their needs. Still, I'm not able to access any other things because they're all blocked, and I would need to require request access for those. Yeah, so that was a quick demo of what's coming. Actually, I have a few other small things I'll show you, which will be handy. So we have added a link to VirusTotal. So what this does is, so if a request comes in to install a program, the technician may not know if that's a safe program or not. So what they can now do is click on VirusTotal. It goes to this website which aggregates information. If somebody has reported this file to be malicious, then you will see that here. This file looks good. So that's one of the utilities we have added in here for MSP technician to make an informed decision. So that's one enhancement. The other enhancement is a shortcut to add a rule to a policy. So say I've been receiving a lot of requests about a certain application or process. What I can do is I can click on this capture all the conditions from the request that came in. Now I can remove the ones I don't want, and now I can give it a name. It's Notepad rule, and then I can easily add it to one of my existing policies from here. So now going forward, if I receive a new request about this, it's going to get auto approved. So yeah, that's a demo of what's coming. I'll also be sharing some documentation with you, so stay tuned. Thanks.